Then I took a smidge and applied it down there.
This one's wife. Harry's Bolthole. But where is it? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Now, if you read that title as Harry's Butthole, I would say that you need some help. I think that you need to calm down, perhaps even go and see a therapist if you're seeing buttholes rather than bolt holes. Thinking about Harry's butthole is not good for your health, so stop it. That's the ultra telling you off. But let's get back to the matter in hand. The bolt hole. Narcissists use bolt holes. I have a video about that, which explains why the narcissist has them, what they're used for, and what goes in them. And therefore, if you'd be interested to learn the narcissist's use of the bolt hole, I'd encourage you to watch that video. You can search for it amongst my many, many videos that educate you about narcissism. But that's not the purpose of Harry's bolt hole. No. A bolt hole, for someone such as Harry, is a place to escape, a place to perhaps rest and recuperate, a place perhaps to reflect, to have some moments to himself, to get away from something which is proving problematic. For some people, they have a bolt hole to escape the stresses of modern life. They have a demanding job. They have children to raise. It might be that the children have particular challenges that need to be addressed. Work may be particularly stressful. There could be financial complications. The individual may have a high level of responsibility in what they do, both in their personal lives and in what they do work-wise. And therefore, being able to retreat to a quiet place, away from the hustle and bustle and the demands of family life and the demands of a job and responsibility, can prove particularly useful. In some instances, the individual might go to the boat hole with members of family, wanting everybody to retreat from the demands of modern life. For some people, it might be a cabin up in the mountains. For others, it might be a house on the coastline. For others, it could simply be a man cave down the bottom of the garden, or a place that is their own in the basement. Wherever that bolt hole might be, it is invariably used by people as a place of escape, and thus that would be equally applicable to Harry. What would it be that he's escaping from, though? And where is this bolt hole? Well, let's address the second question first, for as a consequence of an Australian publication called Now to Love, there's some speculation that the king might actually be helping out his errant ginger son. When the king's public relations team quashed reports he'd secretly snapped up a $9.8 million apartment in Manhattan's Billionaires' Row in July, the story quickly disappeared. But recently, murmurings of the $1 million hideaway resurfaced again, begging the question, why is King Charles so at pains to keep the purchase a secret? Might it be that King Charles wants to have a boat hole in Manhattan, that he wants to pop over to the States and be able to have a look at what the traitorous colonists are up to these days? Maybe he fancies being an Englishman in New York, as Sting once sang. Or might it be to do with his son, Prince Harry? It's certainly not unusual for the British royal family to own property in other countries, which are often used as official residences for Commonwealth consulates, and this might be the reason for Charles's purchase. Indeed, at the time of her death in 2022, it was reported that the late Queen Elizabeth II had amassed an impressive real estate portfolio in the American city with 24 residences across Manhattan. But another growing theory is that the king could well have bought the property as an olive branch. The old olive branch is getting brought out again. It's looking pretty raggedy these days, but it's getting mentioned again. As an olive branch of sorts for his son Prince Harry, while he navigates difficulties in his marriage to this one's wife. There's no doubt a big change is going on for Harry and this one's wife. Everything they do, everything they try, rarely does it work out how they want it, and the cracks have been showing for some time. This isn't just about their awkward body language. He's not a skilled actor like her, and he can't hide his discomfort with how things are. Harry's not the first Brit to become disillusioned with California, so it's no surprise to hear he's looking for an exit, shares some royal insider. The UK media is abuzz with reports that the Duke is turning away from Hollywood publicists and reaching out to seek counsel from his old friends and associates, as he makes plans to end his US exile, with his old friends said to be plotting Operation Bring Harry in from the Cold, which has been mentioned in the past. He's clearly reaching out thinking, I need to do something different, because what I'm doing is clearly not working. In short, he is rethinking the way he operates, amid claims that Harry feels he's lost his way and dislikes being overshadowed by this one's wife in public. According to the Sun's royal reporter, this one's wife took centre stage during their recent visits to Nigeria and Colombia. Harry looked rather grumpy, but he looked a bit like the spare. The source adds, Harry's simply looking for a change, which is why it's no coincidence we're hearing King Charles has bought a Bolthole in New York. It's halfway between London and Monty Shitshow and gives him a base away from this one's wife and her minions. Harry's going to New York this month, so it'll be interesting to see where he actually stays. If Charles has bought this pad to give Harry some space, don't be surprised if he arrives with more suitcases than he leaves with. It's possible he'll be setting it up as an escape option should things get tough with this one's wife. Thus, the speculation is that King Charles, having purchased this property, may well allow Harry to use it as a bolt hole to escape this one's wife. There is no doubt at all that Harry is under the cosh in relation to this one's wife. This is because she is a narcissist and he is in the sustained devaluation, which means that he's being badly treated. Not only that, the way that she behaves because of her narcissism in public is that she always has to make it about her, which not only can be embarrassing to watch for Harry, but also means that he gets relegated to spare in his own marriage. And because of his own strong narcissistic traits, particularly that of pride and resentment, he will look at his wife and think, hang on a minute, I'm the real royal in all of this, you're not, and you're trying to take that away from me. That doesn't impress me much. The fact is that with Harry being devalued, both publicly and privately, it would be little wonder that his mind would start to perhaps going to not necessarily escaping from her for good, but needing some kind of place to have respite from the ongoing pressures that he's feeling. And, given the need of King Charles to assert control over his son and try and lure him back into the fold, it could well be entirely accurate that King Charles has purchased this bolt hole, not specifically for Harry, but will make it available for Harry to use so that he has that place that he can go to and just work a few things out. For instance, should he put the crayons in colour alphabetical order, or should he do them by reference to shade, starting with the darkest on the left and moving to the lightest on the right? A bolt hole is, of course, particularly important for those escaping the narcissist. After all, a person needs somewhere to live, and if you're able to secure somewhere which is peaceful and away from the abuses of the narcissist, this goes a long way to not only making life feel a lot better for you, but reducing your emotional thinking. And therefore, for Harry to do this would prove particularly important and useful to him. But might there be another angle to all of this? Might it be that it's not just about this one's wife and her treatment of him, but that heat is increasing on Harry as a consequence of other factors? Might it be that he is concerned about political movement within the United States that might have repercussions for him? Might there be a reaction to the news relating to the charging of P. Diddy that Sean Combs and his affiliation with Harry? Might it be that Harry's recognizing that some dirt might come out about him, and therefore he needs to make himself scarce, putting himself in a place where he can't be found? Perhaps he's being advised to do so. Again, it's speculation, but it is interesting to note that this bolt hole has been purchased, that it's been hushed up, and there is the distinct possibility of it being utilised by Harry, either for the purposes of escaping unfavourable coverage in relation to things that he might have done, or perhaps more likely as a place for him to escape the machinations of his devaluing wife. What do you think? Do you think that the bolt hole that exists will be utilised by Harry, and to what end? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.